Do you guys remember why David Beckham received so much criticism in 1998? England were playing against Argentina in the World Cup round of 16. Early in the second half, Diego Simeone fouled Beckham.
An amazing moment. David Beckham.
While still on the ground, Beckham kicked his leg towards him and got a red card.
Beckham couldn't believe it.
England continued with 10 men and still created a few chances, but they could not score the winning goal. They somehow managed to hold on for a draw, but eventually lost on penalties. Yet most of the blame went to Beckham directly, and I think that was completely unfair. Yes, he made a serious mistake, but was he really responsible for the entire defeat?
Diego putting his hand on the back of my head, either rubbing it or pulling my hair a little bit, and then I just reacted.
Let's talk about it. But before we move forward, hit the like button to support the channel and subscribe if you're new here. Let's get to the topic. The criticism did not stay on the football pitch. Beckham's face appeared across the newspapers. One headline described the other England players as heroes and called Beckham a stupid boy. Another newspaper printed his face in the centre of a dartboard, but it became much worse than a few angry headlines. Beckham received threats. People shouted abuse at him in public. He later spoke about people stopping beside his car and spitting at the window. People even hung a model of Beckham outside a pub. And this is where I think the reaction became completely unreasonable.
It wasn't just stepping onto a football pitch, it was every time that I went out and in my car and people stopped me and spat at my window.
Criticising a player for losing control is fair. Treating him like an enemy of the country is not. Beckham was only 23 years old. He had made one bad decision in a football match, but for months he could barely go anywhere without being reminded of it. A lot of players would have struggled to recover from that. The real question was how Beckham would respond when the new season began. What Beckham did next is probably the biggest reason this story changed. He did not hide. He did not leave England, and he did not allow one mistake to control the rest of his career. He returned to Manchester United and had the best season of his life. United won the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. And Beckham was involved in some of their biggest moments. He scored in the FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal. He also scored in the final league match against Tottenham, helping United win the title. Then, in the Champions League final, both of United's late goals came from Beckham's corners. This really matters a lot because Beckham was under huge pressure all season. Every mistake could give people another reason to attack him. But instead of becoming more careful, he continued taking responsibility. By the end of the season, the same player who had been called a disgrace was one of the main reasons Manchester United had won the treble. He later finished second in the Ballon d'Or. So within 1 year, Beckham went from being blamed for England's World Cup exit to being recognised as one of the best players in Europe. At Euro 2000, Beckham gave England exactly what they needed against Portugal. First, he crossed for Paul Scholes to score. Then he created the second goal for Steve McManaman. England were 2-0 ahead after only 18 minutes, but Portugal came back and won the match by 3-2. After the final whistle, some England supporters began abusing the players. Beckham was among those targeted, and this is what I find unfair. He had created both of England's goals. You could not blame him for the defeat, yet he was once again receiving abuse because the team had lost. That showed Beckham could not change his position through club football alone. He needed to produce an important moment for England. A few months later, he received an opportunity that nobody expected. England made him captain. But England's World Cup qualifying campaign was already in trouble. They had lost at home to Germany, and Kevin Keegan resigned after the match. Sven-Göran Eriksson then became the new manager. Under him, England started improving. They won matches against Finland, Albania, and Greece. Then came the result that completely changed the campaign. England beat Germany by 5-1 in Munich. Beckham did not score that night, but you could see how important he had become. He kept England organised, he worked constantly on the right side, and whenever England had a free kick or corner, he took responsibility. This was no longer the young player people remembered from 1998. He was now leading England through difficult matches and helping the team move closer to the World Cup. But after that famous win in Germany, England still had one final job to complete. They needed a result against Greece at Old Trafford. England only needed a draw against Greece to qualify for the World Cup. On paper, it looked simple, but England played badly. Greece took the lead in the first half. England finally equalised when Teddy Sheringham came on and scored almost immediately. But less than a minute later, Greece scored again to make it 2-1. England were now running out of time. Then, in stoppage time, Beckham scored the free kick that made it 2-2 and sent England to the World Cup. England qualified for the World Cup. And the same supporters who once blamed Beckham for England's failure were now celebrating because of him. But I do not think one free kick suddenly changed Beckham into a hero. He had already spent 3 years proving himself. The goal against Greece simply gave everyone one moment they could no longer ignore. At the 2002 World Cup, England faced Argentina again. This time, Beckham was the captain. England won a penalty in the first half and Beckham stepped forward to take it. He scored. England won the match by 1-0. For me, this moment was not about revenge. Scoring a penalty could never change what happened 4 years earlier, but it showed how much Beckham had changed. In 1998, he lost control in the biggest moment. In 2002, England trusted him to take responsibility in the biggest moment. That is the real difference. The player who once walked off the pitch with everyone blaming him was now leading the team and scoring the winning goal against the same opponent. Beckham's story is often reduced to 2 moments: the red card in 1998 and the free kick against Greece in 2001 that helped England qualify for the World Cup. But the change did not happen overnight. I don't think Beckham became a national hero because of only that one goal. The free kick against Greece was simply the moment when the country finally accepted what he had already shown for years. He was no longer the young player who lost control against Argentina. He had become the player England trusted when everything was going wrong. And honestly, that is what makes this story so interesting. England did not just change its opinion of Beckham, Beckham forced them to change it. But what do you guys think? Did Beckham deserve that level of criticism he received in 1998? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next one.